Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. Where do you want to go next? If you'd like to see Liyue's tourist spots, I have a few references. Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
Wait, you two! Just a moment, please! You're the traveler in Paimon, right? I thought you two looked familiar. People have been talking all about you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Do you have a moment? There's something I'd like to discuss with you. My name is Nabil. I'm a matra in the academia. You're friends with Cyno, right? I've heard him mention you before. Currently, Cyno is out investigating a case involving smuggled canned knowledge. It's been days since we've last heard from him.
Oh no. Do you think he's in trouble?
Well, to be completely honest, it's pretty hard to imagine anything that could pose a threat to Cyno. Word has it that you two are brave, smart, and extremely capable adventurers. Do you think you could lend us a hand and help investigate the smuggling?
All right. Since you asked so nicely, we'll help.
Large amounts of canned knowledge from unknown origins have been appearing on the market recently. Cyno suspected that there's a secret route being used to move the capsules. According to some research, using large amounts of canned knowledge could lead to some serious consequences, and unfortunately, most people have yet to realize that. Rumors also have it that some particularly dangerous canned knowledge has made its way into the market. Regardless of whether the rumors are true or not, this case calls for urgent action. Last we heard from Cyno, he was investigating somewhere outside Sumeru City. It seems that he had found some leads at the time, but we haven't heard from him since.
Sounds like we better go look for him. Come on!
Boats are made for transferring commodities back and forth, and those that come across Lior tend to stay a while, so it is where many things come to settle. Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember, but where are those who share the memory?
To the swamp.
It's you two. I knew I sensed a familiar presence, but I'm very busy at the moment. We'll have to chat some other time.
That's right! Nabil asked us to come and check on the situation.
So Nabil told you about this? Divulging my location without authorization. I'll let it slide for now. This isn't the time for that. I see. Well, the situation might be more problematic than you anticipated. I've already long story short, I was able to learn of the secret location where the canned knowledge is being sold. You're welcome to accompany me if you're interested.
Whoa, sounds pretty complicated, but having a chance to catch bad guys with cyno, it's like we're a part of the mantra. All right, sign us up!
Is this all you got? Seems even less than last time.
What difference does it make? If you see something you like, buy it. If not, then keep walking.
They've been cracking down on us lately, so we don't have much on hand. If you see something that catches your eye, then now's your chance. There's no telling when we'll have more.
What does the academia think they're doing? All right, I don't see any real gems in this batch. It's all pretty ordinary stuff. Whatever, how much do I owe you?
150K. Show us the Mora, and you'll get the goods.
Put the Mora down and your hands up.
It's cyno! When's he ever gonna let up?
Hey, forget the goods! Let's split!
Target Demora!
Dun dun! Not so fast! You can't escape with Paimon on the case!
What is this? He's got backup now? Doesn't everyone say cyno works alone? I don't like the looks of this. Either way, it's gonna be a tough fight. Any ideas?
It's over. It's not like we're making a big cut anyway. I'm not losing my life here.
Huh? Did they really just give up like that?
Just like the others I've caught. They're not deep in the circle, just dealers at the bottom of the chain. All right, I have one question and one question only. Where did you get this canned knowledge?
The pickup location is different every time. The boss tells us where it's gonna be and that's it. We don't get a say in it. He sends someone every 5 days to bring us the goods.
And when is the next batch coming?
I don't know.
He's telling the truth. Honest. Normally, we should have received a shipment 3 days ago, but we didn't get anything. The stock we have right now is from 8 days ago, which is why there isn't much left.
I know exactly why they didn't receive their last batch. 3 days ago is exactly when I started my investigation. I suspect who's ever running this whole thing knew that I was coming. So they cut all contact with these dealers. When you were trying to escape, you said something about me working alone. Where did you hear that from?
Are you kidding? We've known your name since day one in this business. The boss warned us to watch out and even gave us info about you. But here we are. I guess we never stood a chance.
They already knew all about me and were trying to avoid being detected from the very beginning. These small fries are the only ones they leave out in the open. And no matter how many we catch, it won't further our investigation. If only we had another lead. Like a merchant who sells large amounts of canned knowledge.
Huh? Oh, you mean someone like nothing?
Do you have a potential suspect? You'd better bring them to me for judgment.
Whoa! Judgment?
That's right. I won't turn a blind eye on any dangerous suspect.
Oh! Sounds like we shouldn't ever let Cyno meet Dory.
I see. Anyway, I'll think of a way to deal with these two and then continue gathering information. If you manage to learn anything, you can find me at Caravan Rebot. And as for you, I don't ever want to catch you buying canned knowledge again. If you possess any unused knowledge capsules, then you should submit them to the authorities immediately.
Okay, I got it. Just keep your nose out of my business.
Hey! What's with the attitude, mister?
What, you got a problem with that too? Listen, buying canned knowledge is a deal between two people, the buyer and the seller. We don't need people like you butting in on our business here. Think about it. If the academia is hoarding something as convenient and useful like canned knowledge, then they must have been planning only to use it for themselves. Am I right?
The academia has clearly published the potential dangers of canned knowledge. I don't like having to repeat things. And besides, I'm sure you wouldn't listen anyway. I just hope you understand that your actions are what fuels the smuggling of canned knowledge. If I ever catch you again, I will personally see to it that you are punished. All right, Traveler. I need to go now.
Ha! You think you can scare me?
Traveler, why don't we go talk to Dory? She's got loads of connections and might be able to tell us something about all this. If Paimon remembers correctly, she's usually at the Palace of Alcazar's Array. Let's go! So that's the latest scoop. Good thing you didn't rat me out. Otherwise, who knows where I'd have to be hiding to avoid attention. No idea. Sorry. I've already cashed out of the canned knowledge business. Huh? You mean you stopped selling it? That's right. With so much canned knowledge flooding the market, it was becoming impossible to fetch decent prices anymore. Besides, it seems that group of smugglers has practically taken over the market. It's a little rule of mine to never fight for a share of someone else's market. If I'm gonna make Mora, it's gonna be the lion's share. Plus, with regulations getting as tight as they are now, I figured I might as well just hang it up.
Aw, sounds like we came all this way for nothing.
Well, not completely. Granted, I don't know who's behind all the smuggling activity, but since you didn't sell me out, I'll let you in on what I do know. After all, those smugglers have really crossed the line, butting their way into the market like that. I hope their luck runs out soon so that I can take over. I mean, so that the industry can become more fairly regulated.
Hey, you just want to make more business for yourself.
Don't underestimate its value. Think about it. You can gain all sorts of knowledge while bypassing the troublesome process of studying. Naturally, that makes it a product worth a high price. Of course, not everyone needs that kind of knowledge, but in a market as big as Sumeru, there is plenty of demand. Plus, the cost of production is relatively low, so even if dealers have to cover transportation costs, there's still an enormous profit to be made.
Then why does the academia prohibit selling canned knowledge?
Being able to gain complex knowledge and become a scholar with the snap of your fingers does sound like a dream, doesn't it? But everything in the world comes at a price, right? Gaining knowledge is a complicated process. It requires learning, thinking, and practice. Even when it comes to my own business, I have to go through a lot of preparation before I put anything out for sale. But with canned knowledge, one may simply skip all the hassle and get whatever they need to know immediately. That inherently leads to at least two potential problems. First, you'll accept the knowledge as factual without a second thought, and you'll find it very hard to forget. This means that if the knowledge is flawed, then it'll be very difficult to correct. And second, excess use of knowledge capsules over an extended time diminishes your ability to think. You'll end up becoming like a library that can only store knowledge.
Oh, that does sound pretty dangerous. Traveler, you used canned knowledge before. Did you feel any negative effects?
Of course, using it sparingly is not an issue, which is exactly why I used to sell it. It's just like how medicine can be used to cure diseases, but can also do harm when overused. It all comes down to balancing the right amount. Anyway, back to the point. There'll be consequences if the sale of canned knowledge by those smugglers is left unchecked. And what's worse, you're playing right into their hands by focusing only on the canned knowledge that's made its way into the market. As far as I know, their real purpose is to distribute information about the Court of Desolation. That's where the real business opportunity is.
The Court of Desolation? What's that?
Rumor has it that it's a site of ruins from the age of King Deshret. It's said that with the treasures inside, one can see beyond life and death. But any research of the ruins is strictly banned by the academia. Word on the street is that there'll be an auction taking place in the desert. They're auctioning rare canned knowledge, some of which is related to the Court of Desolation. Once I heard about the auction, I began to suspect that all the canned knowledge popping up on the market is just a diversion. I'd wager that their real target is the Court of Desolation, because studying those ruins is not just a simple matter. It requires knowledge spanning several fields. So, if they're aiming to quickly assemble a research team, canned knowledge would be the best solution. As for the auction, chances are they're trying to attract and scout out anyone with interest or expertise on the subject. On the other hand, no one can say for sure that they will ever succeed in finding the Court of Desolation. So, Sounds to Paimon like we better head to the desert and see the auction. Who knows,
That's right. And now that I've shared all that valuable info with you, it's time to introduce our limited edition desert travel kit. It comes complete with a map straight to the auction location. As I said, I also have to make preparations before I sell things, right? Now, let me consider how much I should sell this for. I've got it! 500,000 mora per kit! That's quite the bargain. We'll even offer a 50% discount for little Paimon's travel kit. Only 250,000 mora.
what? That's super expensive!
No need to worry, little one. Cyno's the one heading this investigation, isn't he? I'll be sure to bill all the expenses to him. All you'll need to do is tell him to go to the Merchants Guild and pay the bill once the mission is completed. Just, be sure to not send him directly here, though, okay? That would leave me completely in the open. I'm sure the General Mahamatra of the Academia would never leave any debt unpaid, and I can only imagine the funds he's allocated for investigations. Oh, maybe I should charge him more.
We'd better get going. If Dory keeps at it, we'll be out of mora.
Where do you want to go next? If you'd like to see Liyue's tourist spots, I have a few references.
Let's go check it out.
Cyno! We got news for you. What the smugglers are really after is a chance to research the Court of Desolation. They are hosting an auction in the desert to sell canned knowledge about those ruins.
The Court of Desolation. I won't ask how you came by this intel, but is it reliable?
We also heard that the Court of Desolation contains treasures from the time of King Deshret. Is that true?
Partially. It was a secret place built by a dark sect from the age of King Deshret. The ruins do contain treasures, but the place is also rife with unknown dangers. According to past research, one must forfeit their life as the price of entering. They are not some ordinary ruins, so the Academia has strictly prohibited any related research. However, if they are using the canned knowledge as a way to move information and recruit researchers, then I suppose your conclusion does hold some validity. Less in recent years, but there are always those who attempt to do so, both inside and outside the Academia. After all, legends claim that whoever obtains the treasures inside can see beyond life and death, or even resurrect the dead. Death is often the greatest grievance for many people. Though they're fully aware that the chance of these rumors being true are slim, they hold tight to such fantasies and pursue them regardless. That's why some continue to research it, regardless of it being a restricted subject. On top of that, it's hard to track the source of information contained in canned knowledge. Do you know where the auction is taking place? Good. We'll go investigate. But before that, we'll have to get rid of these people tailing us.
Huh? People tailing us?
That's right. Let's begin to leave town and see what happens. I'm sure they'll reveal themselves as soon as we make a move. Don't worry. I'll make short work of them.
That's Cyno for ya. But we can lend a hand too, you know.
Travelers and visitors, don't miss out.
Hold it right there. Heading to the desert, are we? I would think twice if I were you.
Huh? Who are you?
That doesn't matter. All you need to know is that someone wishes to you must be. And as for you two, why bother sticking your noses in trouble?
That's right! We won't just sit back and do nothing!
Ha! Have you really thought it through? You're not just doing this for recognition, are you, Cyno? My employer said that he's willing to compromise as long as you just walk away. He could, for example, reduce the amount of canned knowledge on the market. I'm sure that would help your investigation a peak. On top of that, he's willing to give you a cut of the profit. So you see, you get both Mora and a boost to your reputation.
Is that so? Well, I can't think of a reason why I'd accept.
Sorry, no can do. We're getting paid to ensure you disappear. Since you won't turn back willingly, then we're gonna have to make you go.
Happy to apply.
This is order.
Illusion shadow. Witness my rise. Laid bare. Torn to oblivion. There is no escape.
Nowhere to run!
Today, I will have order. Judgment is upon you. You stand condemned. Well played. Your penance is due.
This doesn't change anything. You're in over your head, Cyno. There will be others coming for you. You'll regret it. Let's get out of here.
No need. Even if we apprehend them, there'll be little information to gain. Besides, it might also be a trap. I apologize for bringing you into this dangerous mess. Just being associated with me will inevitably cause you to become targets as well. You should be careful from now on. Sleep with one eye open.
Wait, hold on! There's no way anyone could sleep without closing their eyes!
You'd be surprised. Anyway, just be careful. Mercenaries are never quick to forget. In their line of work, even a single failure is bad for reputation. They may even stay hidden in some dark corner for a very long time, waiting for the right moment to ambush you. They'll do anything to keep their prestige intact. Yes, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was carrying out a mission with one of my superiors. I didn't have much experience at the time, and I let my guard down after we had closed the case. We ended up being attacked by the remainder of the mercenaries. My superior was injured while protecting me, and we struggled to gain control of the situation. I've become more vigilant ever since, staying alert even while I sleep.
Ooh, who could have seen that coming? Was he okay?
He survived with a fractured wrist. It took 2 months for him to recover, but luckily, there weren't any further complications. Last year, he transferred to an administrative role for personal reasons, and no longer participates in live missions. His name is Taj Ratkani, a very well-respected Matra. You'll have the chance to meet him someday. Anyway, our mission will be dangerous. I'm already used to such grueling conditions, but I don't want to see you two get hurt.
Don't worry, Paimon will stay alert. We'll see danger coming a mile away.
Good. Don't worry. It won't be long till we're at the bottom of this. And once this is all over, I'll sweep away any other hidden dangers. We still have a long way to go, so you'll need to hang in there for a while longer. This is not a good place to rest anyway.
Okay. But don't you feel hot too, Cyno?
Of course, but I'm accustomed to these conditions.
Care to share any tips? Paimon's about to melt away.
Just try to stay focused. Use your willpower to support your mind. The moment you start to give in is when you'll feel more tired. Take one step after another. Don't let your mind perceive your body's limitations. We must get somewhere safe before we can relax.
Okay, if you say so. But where would be a more safe place to rest? Paimon thinks this is a perfectly safe place to stop. Just look around, it's just sand and desert. There aren't any monsters for miles around. Whoa! Where did these scorpions come from?
Watch out. Something's not right about them.
Gather!
You asked for it! Transfix!
Well, Paimon really didn't expect to see those here.
Those weren't just normal scorpions. See, there are marked numbers on their pincers. They were raided. Someone doesn't want us to show up at the auction. These scorpions were sent to keep us away. We are surrounded by desert as far as the eye can see. If we were killed out here, nobody would ever know.
This place is super dangerous. Good thing we didn't let our guard down.
Something's not right. There are no roads in the desert, so how could they know where we are? Stay still. Here's the answer. They must have planted this on you.
Huh? What is it?
A miniature tracking device made by the Ksharawar. They can use this to discern your approximate location. But this device wasn't licensed for mass production.
Whoa! Paimon never knew that kind of thing even existed! Why would it be on him?
They probably planted it on the Traveler during our fight with the mercenaries earlier. It was a frantic fight. It's only natural you didn't notice the device.
Well, good thing you were able to find it, Cyno. Now let's get rid of it.
No. Hold on to it for now. It might still be useful for us. Let's keep heading to the auction. It would be dangerous to linger here any longer.
They're back again! How many of them are there?
Stabilize!
entered. Inazuma shines eternal.
Weird. Is this where the auction is? Yeah, not a single soul. Maybe they're on break right now or something.
We didn't waste any time getting here after we defeated those mercenaries. They shouldn't have been able to give any warning of our arrival, but even so, they still knew we were coming. Someone here must have been watching the tracker and warned everyone to clear out.
Aw, what should we do now?
We searched the area. They couldn't have moved all the knowledge capsules so quickly. There might still be something left for us to find.
Alright, let's take a good look around the area.
Did you find anything?
No, nothing in particular.
It's possible there weren't many knowledge capsules containing info about the Court of Desolation, so they carried those off. But don't worry, I have another idea. You two start heading back the way we came. I will remain hidden here. Come back and meet me here after some time has passed. I'm sure something will come up by then. They packed up in a hurry and didn't have time to carry off all their goods. They won't just leave them here. Once they think we've left the premises, they'll be back to pick up their belongings. We just need to make sure the tracker goes far enough from here to make them assume that it's safe to come back.
Oh, Paimon gets it. We'll lure them out because they'll think we've left. Okay, we'll start heading away and leave this place to you.
Yes, and don't worry. If they dare to return, I'll make sure they stay.
Ugh, so tired. We've probably gone far enough now, right? Further? But Paimon can't go another step. It's probably about time for us to head back to the auction. Let's go. Maybe Cyno's finally found some lead.
this order. Rise!
So you're the bad guy behind all this, aren't ya? All right, tell Paimon everything you know.
I didn't act immediately when he showed up. Rather, I laid low and observed for a while instead. He is not the primary instigator, but he is most likely one of the more important dealers here. Am I right?
Yes, impressive. You certainly live up to your reputation, Cyno. If I had any idea you were still around, I wouldn't have gotten so greedy.
Huh? Greedy? What do you mean by that?
Once everyone knew you were coming, all the canned knowledge dealers abandoned their goods and fled at once. Since all the goods were just left here unsupervised, I thought I'd use the opportunity to come back and take what I could. You know, free merchandise is good business, but I suppose there's no use explaining it now.
You must know who's manufacturing and selling the canned knowledge, correct? Will you tell us willingly, or do I need to make you talk?
No, I'll talk. But before that, perhaps we can take the conversation elsewhere? If we stay here, chances are that someone will see me with you. That would put both me and my family in danger.
All right. Where do you suggest we go?
How about my home in Aru Village? It should be safe there.
Fine. Let's head out. You can throw away the tracker now, Traveler.
Listen, buddy, you better not try to trick us.
Come on now. Do you really think I'd try to pull anything under Cyno's watch?
Hi there.
This is my daughter, Seeming. She can be a little shy of strangers. Why don't you run along now, dear? Dad needs to talk with our guests.
Oh, okay.
Everyone knows Cyno in our business, but let me ask, who are you two?
Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler.
To be honest, I really didn't expect to see Cyno, the lone operator, working with any partners. When I saw the tracker start moving away, I assumed you had decided to just go back empty-handed. But even though you caught me, I'd still urge you to stop while you still can. You should abandon this investigation.
Why is that?
Everything from the manufacturing of canned knowledge to the sales and even splitting the profits. Every step of the process involves dozens, if not hundreds of people. Massive profits have brought everyone together in this business. Everyone will try their best to defend this industry that we've worked to build. It will be a long and difficult fight, even for you, Cyno. And even if you manage to win in the end, no one will thank you. If anything, you yourself might even feel remorse. Why are you so bent on putting us out of business?
Everyone has their own reasons for what they do. I don't have to explain mine.
Here's some tea, Dad. And for the guests, too.
Right. I forgot to offer tea to our guests. Thank you.
Don't mention it. And, I should tell you that our tea tastes kind of bitter, but I put some sugar in to make it a little tastier.
That's my girl. Do we still have any sugar left? If not, I'll buy some more next time.
Yes, we do. Okay, I'm gonna go have a rest now.
Didn't you say that everyone's in it for the massive profits? That sure doesn't seem to be the case for you.
Actually, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I was hoping to ask you for a favor. My daughter was born with a chronic disease, so she has a relatively weak heart and lungs. Even slightly strenuous exercise can cause her to faint and prove to be a life-threatening risk. That's why she never really had any friends to play with, and why she locks herself up in her room most of the time. She has to take lots of medicine, and it doesn't come cheap. As for me, I was just an average merchant. I would wake up early and travel all around to make a profit. But the Mora was still nowhere near enough. I could only watch my daughter's health deteriorate day by day. Until one day, someone reached out and showed me a way to really make a profit.
Selling canned knowledge?
That's right. With all the Mora I made, I could finally afford medical treatment for my daughter. Nothing made me happier than seeing her get better. There are many others like me. Smuggling canned knowledge might seem like an unforgivable crime to you, but to us, it's a means of survival. I wanted to tell you all this so that maybe you could understand and change your mind. Please, stay out of this, cyno. Give us a way to survive.
Oh no. That means that if we prevent the sale of canned knowledge, his daughter will...
I must get to the truth. I can find someone to help treat your child, but I cannot turn a blind eye to the smuggling. These are two completely different issues.
I somehow knew you would say that, but having your word to help my daughter is enough for me. Since you insist on continuing the investigation, you should have a look around the back of my home. You'll find some goods I received just recently. I think everything will become clear to you once you see them.
Whoa! Look at all of this!
Yes, all neatly packed away and organized in boxes. To think that this is only one dealer's worth. Small producers couldn't possibly support such a large quantity of goods. Could the academia have a hand in this? But such a volume of goods wouldn't be able to slip through inspection.
Huh? Look! These seem different from the other knowledge capsules we've seen. Maybe they contain knowledge about the Court of Desolation.
Yes, that would make sense. Wait, what's this? Yes, it's a Matra seal, indicating that the goods have passed Matra inspection. I started to suspect that someone in the academia might be involved when I found the tracker earlier. But how they could ship so much canned knowledge out of the academia was still a mystery. The pieces have now all fallen into place. With this Matra seal, goods can leave the academia without undergoing a second inspection. No wonder they don't want me to investigate. It turns out that a Matra is behind this. Even I find it hard to believe. Could I ask you for a favor, Traveler? Since all this canned knowledge came from the academia, then it's highly likely that the knowledge regarding the Court of Desolation originated from research files stored within the academia. If we can enter the repository, we can find out who accessed these files. But, considering my current status, if I suddenly show up at the academia now, it will only draw unnecessary attention. You'll need to be the one who checks the records. I'll write a letter to Nabil, and he'll take you there.
Sure thing! Leave it to us!
I'll also keep working here in the meantime. Although our leads are all currently pointing to someone within the academia, it's obvious that they also have power outside of it. We can get more information on other dealers from Bahari. I'll stay here and make some preparations. You can come find me anytime if you uncover more info.
We meet again. Have you managed to find Cyno? If so, how's he doing? I read the letter and must admit that I hadn't expected things to be so serious. Sorry. Had I known it would be so dangerous, I never would have gotten you two involved.
It's alright. We wanted to help Cyno too.
I can tell that he really trusts you. The research files stored away in the restricted repository are far from ordinary. Everything there is essentially about danger. Even I don't usually have authorization to enter. But with this letter from Cyno, it shouldn't be a problem. That's right. Granted, the academia is very supportive when it comes to research. They encourage scholars to conduct all kinds of studies. However, some forms of research have proven to be so dangerous that the Matra have to step in and put a stop to them. Normally, after some particular research becomes prohibited, the majority of the related files will be destroyed. But some information may be retained as a record to warn later researchers. Such information is kept in the restricted repository, which is heavily guarded. Follow me. I'll show you. Hopefully, we'll find the answers that Cyno is looking for.
The restricted repository. Sounds kinda dangerous. We'd better keep an eye out.
Those closed-door research projects are a complete waste of money.
Okay, I understand. Since Cyno is vouching for you, I suppose we can trust you. You may browse the information regarding the Court of Desolation. Ask me if you have any questions. But I'd suggest avoiding any other research files. Sometimes the less you know, the better.
is the restricted repository? I never thought I'd see the inside of it. This is a first for both you and me.
There are many who do not openly converse with others within the academia. But even so, there are very few who I feel could be trusted with a real secret. Even though he's no longer in the academia, I still trust him. And that goes for anyone he trusts as well. The files are over there. Just make it quick. We have an alarm set behind the bookshelf for...
Whoa, there's a lot to read here. Have you found anything yet? Huh, it reminds Paimon of Cyno's former partner.
His former partner? That would be Taj Rodkani. But you're not far off. Mortada Rodkani was Taj's only son.
What? Taj's son went to prison for researching the Court of Desolation?
Why do you sound so surprised? You're a Matra, aren't you?
It's just that they arrested him in secret, so it was never publicly known. All I knew was that Taj's son was taken to prison. It's not just me. I bet even Cyno didn't know about it.
No. Unfortunately, there isn't. He took his own life not long after he went to prison. You've heard about Taj, right? I know Nabil has. Every Matra knows him. I would say he's probably pushing 50 this year, which makes him one of the most experienced Matra. He is a man of integrity and honesty, and has made countless achievements. His reputation goes back a long way now. He used to be Cyno's only partner. Taj is also skilled with a polearm, so the two of them used to practice together when they weren't out on a mission.
Ah, right. I heard Cyno mention that before. But one day, Taj suddenly decided to retire from active duty and transfer to an administrative position. I wonder if it had anything to do with the Mortada incident.
Taj was already very well known by the time Mortada was born. So when Mortada came to study at the academia, everyone had high expectations of him. He had to face a lot of pressure. Then he had an unpleasant dispute with his father, but they were eventually able to work things out. Not long after they had reconciled, Mortada was caught studying the Court of Desolation. Taj arrested his son and put him behind bars. He begged for leniency, but Taj wouldn't agree. Shortly after, Mortada slit his own throat with the pieces of a broken bowl. By the time Taj arrived at the scene, it was already too late. He never had a last chance to see his son. Since then, Taj has been periodically coming to the repository. He'll hold the files from his son's research with a remorseful look on his face. I guess that's why he chose to move to administrative work.
I had no idea that happened. That must be really hard for Taj. I've never heard him mention that to anyone.
That's awful. Paimon feels terrible now. Are you okay, Traveler?
Wait, don't tell me you're starting to suspect Taj now. Impossible. Taj would never do that. I mean, yes, he does have a big reputation and has access to such research, but this is Taj we're talking about. He would never do anything against regulations. Never.
But if you claim that the canned knowledge was originating from the academia, then Taj is indeed a suspect, because he was the only one who could have recently gone through research files about the Court of Desolation. There are so many files about those ruins that it would be difficult to restart any research, since the 7 original researchers were put behind bars. It's hard enough just trying to make sense of these files. However, if the files were made into canned knowledge, they could be understood immediately. By doing so, one could restart the research outside the academia without anyone ever noticing.
But even so...
According to the legends, the treasures inside the Court of Desolation could allow someone to see beyond life and death, or even bring the dead back to life, right? So maybe Taj is trying to bring Mortada back. Though I don't really believe Taj would ever try to do something like that. I'm just telling you what I know. It's the job of the Matra to find the truth and track down criminals. Do you have any questions? If not, it'd be best if you would leave now.
Paimon's kinda confused. What should...
Oh, now that I think about it, cyno suspected that the canned knowledge was coming from within the academia, right? There's no way so many boxes could ever get through without drawing any attention. Maybe we could try asking people around the gate of the academia and see what we can find. Don't worry, Tosh. I won't let your reputation be tarnished.
Alrighty then, let's go ask around.
Excuse me, have you seen any large shipments of goods leaving the academia recently?
No, not that I'm aware of. Perhaps you could ask someone else?
Excuse me, have you seen any large shipments of goods leaving the academia recently?
Huh. Well, yes, but isn't that pretty normal? The academia consumes so many resources each day. Everything from cooking ingredients, raw materials, even equipment for experiments. It's normal for goods to be coming in and out.
Right, but we're looking for shipments with a Matra seal. Have you seen any like that?
That I'm not too sure of. I normally wouldn't notice whether the goods have any seals or not. Maybe you should ask someone else.
Excuse me, have you seen any large shipments of goods leaving the academia recently?
Huh? Why do you ask?
I'm just checking to ensure nothing unusual has happened.
Well, I can't say it's unusual, but I did notice something. There's a Kashar researcher who's been making frequent shipments recently. Dozen of large boxes each time, if not more. When I asked him about it, he said they just contained a bunch of old worn-out machines. The Kashar used to often sell scrap machines to traveling merchants, so I didn't really think anything of it. But he's been making a lot of shipments lately. There weren't ever so many outdated machines before.
And you didn't find that suspicious? Why didn't you report it for inspection?
Well, the boxes were stamped with a Matra seal. Why should I bother? Of course, I did start to wonder about the seal once, thinking that maybe they forged it or something. But you know what happened? A man named Taj came here and told me that he had already inspected the goods personally and ordered me to leave the researcher alone. I couldn't question his word, could I?
Impossible. There must be some sort of mistake. There's no way Taj would ever... No, I won't believe it. Taj is an honorable man. Someone must be trying to frame him. Wait, I know another Matra who works with Taj. I can ask him to let us speak with Taj.
As I've already told you, I don't have any way to contact Taj. A few Eremites showed up looking for Taj yesterday, and he met with them in his office. I was standing outside of the door, and I vaguely heard them say, "Found it."
Before I realized it, the door opened and Taj left with the group of them. I noticed that he had also changed into Eremite attire. But Taj didn't come to work today, so I've also started to feel a little concerned about the whole thing. If you'd like to speak with him, maybe you can try visiting his home. He lives just on the outskirts of Sumeru City.
A group of Eremites? Could Taj...
No way. Taj is just like Cyno. They're considered heroes among the Matra. There's no way that he would... Fine. Looks like there's no other choice.
Hey, don't let it get to you just yet. We'll get to the bottom of this once and for all.
So, this is Taj's place. There doesn't seem to be anyone here.
Well, what should we do then? Do we break in?
No. Wait, the door's unlocked. Did Taj leave it? Well, anyway, we're still not sure if he's the real culprit. Probably not a good idea to go in without permission. You're right. Even if we apply for a warrant now, we won't be able to do anything until tomorrow at the earliest. This is an emergency. I just hope Taj doesn't mind. What's this?
It's a paper full of names written on it. Oh, and a map. Nabil, can you make any sense of this?
Yes, this is definitely Taj's handwriting. These papers look like records. These are the transactions between Taj and some other... The whole operation involves more than 300 people, including dozens of celebrities. These are famous scholars, merchants, mercenaries. I have a feeling that Cyno might be unaware of what he's up against. There's no way anyone could face such a large organization on their own. You're right, that's just who he is. As for the map, it appears to indicate the location of the Court of Desolation. Let's take it to Cyno and let him decide how to proceed. If Taj really has turned on his honor and committed these terrible acts, then I suspect that he might already be at the Court of Desolation as we speak. I don't want to suspect him, but I also don't know him very well. Maybe Cyno will know what to do.
All right, we'll give these to Cyno and see. What?
It's been a while since I last saw him. From what I remember, he is a straight-laced man. Although he would resort to extreme measures from time to time, he would never do anything against his beliefs.
So do you think he's the one behind all this?
I'm still not sure. I cannot imagine how devastating the incident with Mortada was for him. Nor can I deny the possibility that people can change. Whether it's out of love for his son or for other reasons, we have to see for ourselves to judge him. Or rather, the person he's become. That's right. It's clear that he had a hand in this case, yet he made no report of it. There's no doubting that. That's also why I need to see him. I must ask his reasoning and judge him myself. Time is ticking. Let's go.
May knowledge guide you.
So this is the Court of Desolation. Are there really any treasures buried here? Oh, Paimon's kinda nervous. Could it be dangerous?
Don't worry. You'll be safe with me.
Everlasting as the moon. Overruled.
I will have order.
Look! These walls have definitely seen better days. Was there some sort of fight here? Let's keep going and see what we can find. Whoa! Hopefully that's our way in. That eye seems to be staring right at us. This place gives Paimon the creeps. You go first.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory? Boats are made for transferring commodities back and forth, and those that come across Lior tend to stay a while, so it is where many things come to settle.
Through me, justice is served. Guilty. Their penance is due.
Cyno. It's been some time since I've seen you last. I trust you are doing well. Seeing that you've made it all the way here, you must be on the cusp of wrapping up your investigation, I presume. Even faster than I expected. Is it because you have some new partners now?
That's right. This case is nearly closed. But the most important answer still eludes me. Was it all your doing?
Yes, it was me.
Then explain why.
That's the difficult part. Let's just say I've changed. I've become a selfish coward who only wants to pursue his own interests.
I find that hard to believe.
Oh, really? Way I see it, every person will end up like me sooner or later. When you're young, you press forward, unattached, living solely for the justice in your heart. But as you begin to age, you start to become more cautious. I was the same. I never questioned my actions until Murtada died. I could feel the justice that I once strived to uphold slowly crumbling in my heart. I was completely dedicated to all that I did, but as I grew older, I found myself feeling alone, miserable. Can you imagine what it feels like to not have the will to live, but not be able to die? Murtada was sent to prison by my own hands. I set myself on this painful path. My son hated me till the day he died, and now I must live with that pain and regret. I failed him as a father. But now I have a chance to make it right. A chance to reunite with him. The Court of Desolation. Here lies the key to overcoming life and death. The power to even bring the dead back to life.
So, did you already find what you needed here?
See this door behind me? Behind it lies the treasures that I seek. I'm so close, cyno. If only you hadn't arrived now, I could already have...
Enough conjecture. What has happened is already part of the past. You cannot bring the dead back to life. In the end, the treasures you seek are nothing but myths and legend.
Since you're so sure, why don't you just let me open the door and see then?
No. I sense danger behind that door. There will be dire consequences the moment you open it.
I beg you, as an old partner, can you let me fulfill my last wish just this once? Surely you get it by now. Doing your job without mercy will only drive people away from you. I'm the prime example.
I don't overthink things. If there is only one way for me to defend my principles, then that is the path I will take.
Seems there's no convincing you. All right then. Let's see if your polearm skills have improved at all.
This power order guide you.
Overrule.
I will set things right no matter the cost.
Now you shall perish. Everlasting as the moon.
Your strength.
You feel it, don't you? I'm stronger than you remember. I gained new power. This is only a taste of it. Once I open the door behind me, this power will be complete. Even life and death will have no grip on me.
Uh-oh. We have to stop the...
I won't let you open that door.
I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid it won't be easy to stop me now that you're injured. Or are you ready?
I'll do what I have to.
I still remember when we first became partners. You were always charging forward and putting your life on the line, just like now. Even after all this time, you still haven't changed.
You haven't changed either. You left that list of names and map in your house on purpose, didn't you? You wanted me to be able to find you here. All of this was just part of the act you were putting on. What happened just now was also part of your plan. You might have fooled those on the list. I had my suspicions from the beginning, but I couldn't be sure until we fought. If he really had changed, your fighting style wouldn't be as it was before.
Huh? What do you mean, Simon?
He never planned on opening the door. His true intention...
What's happening?
Seems our time is running short. Let me make this quick then. After Murtada died, my spirit was crushed. For a long time, that is when I was approached by someone who wished to collaborate and find the Court of Desolation together. I did some investigation of my own and discovered they were part of a mass. People from every walk of life are involved. They are relentless in their search, pouring countless mora into secret research, even sacrificing lives in hopes that...
No wonder banning the research wasn't enough. A full-scale operation was already in motion.
I'm a flesh and blood human like anyone else, so I obviously hesitated and considered it. I suddenly came to a realization amidst my suffering. The Court of Desolation, a place that once drove people to tragedy, was still... As long as this place exists, people will recklessly seek it out, just as Mortada did. Generation after generation, regardless of the cost. Let it be buried beneath the sand forever. Once the Court of Desolation is gone, there will no longer be anyone obsessed with seeking it out. That's right. I acted as if I had abandoned my convictions just so that they would cooperate without raising any suspicion. This was the only way I could find and destroy this place. But that wasn't enough. I needed someone I could trust to bring the organization to justice. The academia forbid to add to the problem. The organization is so powerful.
So, you pretended to be the one behind all this, as a test for me.
Yes. I'm sorry, but now I am assured. You haven't changed at all. You are still as you always were, fearless, and making no Anyway, this place is collapsing. You must leave now.
Wait! Aren't you leaving too?
His fate is already sealed. There is no life left inside him. He is like a candle with no more wick to burn. You planned it all from the very beginning, didn't you? Risking being treated as a traitor to collaborate with them. Sacrificing your own life to open and destroy the Court of Desolation.
Regardless, I made a grave mistake by allowing the smuggling and the research of this place. Let this be the final judgment on myself. I was always so busy with work that I never made time to fulfill Mortada's wishes. Finding this place was his biggest wish. Since I'll be reuniting with him here, I can only hope he won't have anything more to hold against me. I'll leave all those people on the list to you. Sorry for all the trouble I've caused.
There's nothing to be sorry for. If you see Mortada, send him my greetings. Goodbye, old friend.
Dad, why are they so strict with me? I'm always the only one who gets in trouble.
Just leave me alone! Don't worry, I won't damage your precious reputation.
Alright, Dad. Let's start over. By the way, I finally found an area of research I wish to pursue. Why can't you show even a little leniency? Why?
Because we are Matra.
The Court of Desolation has...
Just as Taj said, that place had caused too many disasters and tragedies. Being buried in quicksand is its rightful end. To them, as long as there's Mora to be made, they will disregard the Academia's rules, whether it's the Court of Desolation or anything else. Their only goal is to make massive profits off of dangerous research. Taj may have set them back with the Court of Desolation, but it won't be long before... That's an opportunity that I will not let them have.
We'll help too.
Thank you. But just leave the rest to me. I will bring them to justice myself. Besides, I promised you that I would sweep away any potential danger, so that's what I'm going to do. Wait for me at Caravan Rebob 4 days from now.
We meet again. Thank you so much for all your help.
Nabil, what are you doing here?
Convicts from the desert are being escorted through Caravan Rebob, so I'm here to keep an eye on things. This should be the last group of them, so I'll be heading back to the Academia once they're cleared. The last few days have been quite the ride, but fortunately, I can say with confidence that this case is finally coming to an end. At first, the mercenary groups on the list were putting up quite a fight. They made several desperate attempts to cover up the truth. However, Cyno crossed the desert and took out their main camp overnight. After that, people on the list started to put pressure on the higher-ups within the Academia. Everyone was on edge, and the case came to a standstill.
And? Then what happened?
Well, then we received word that Taj Rudkani had sacrificed himself on the case. The news really stirred up the members of our ranks. The Matra then moved together against the enemy. We cleared out the traitors from within the Academia and arrested all the researchers on the list. Some of them managed to get out of the Academia, but still failed to escape. The scattered criminals were captured by cyno all across Sumeru. I even heard that someone was about to escape to Fontaine, but was still apprehended just at the border. Having more than 300 prisoners apprehended for interrogation has definitely shaken things up recently.
Is Cyno alright? He didn't get injured, did he?
He seems fine, but nobody knows the real situation. He brought over 300 suspects to judgment all on his own. Among them were even some of our former colleagues. Not just the criminals are afraid of him. Even we start feeling a little nervous when he's around now. But even if we start feeling all self-conscious, thinking if we've done anything wrong, we're still always honored to have Cyno around. By the way, are you guys here to see Cyno? I think I just saw him walking in that direction when I was on watch. He was walking with someone I didn't recognize, and then before I knew it, they were nowhere to be seen. If you happen to see him, please send my regards.
Sure thing, Nabil. You be careful too. Don't let any of those bad guys escape.
Don't worry about me. If anything happens, you can find me at the Academia anytime.
Trying to single-handedly bring 300 people to justice must feel pretty exhilarating, but I can assure you this is certainly not the best solution.
I'm aware. However, I learned something unexpected during interrogation. Apparently, Mortada had lived in his father's shadow all his life. Naturally, he wanted to after Mortada died. The organization tried to use Taj's shame regarding his son to add toying with others' minds, treating lives like dirt, and doing anything for their own interests.
Fine, I understand. This is a type of trap I've been working on which uses plants. Here, take some just in case you need them next time. If thrown into the mud, the trap will grow rapidly and disperse a pollen that has a paralyzing effect. I don't have much use for the traps these days, but maybe you will, and can help me collect more—
Cyno! Tighnari! Oh, so Tighnari must be who Nabil saw earlier!
That's right. Cyno asked me to collect some medicinal herbs to treat a girl named Seeming. I also dropped by just to check for any injuries. And Cyno—
How is Kale?
She's grown a bit taller, but after some time,
Huh? You mean Kale is—
I've asked her to host some ad hoc lectures to teach the dangers of canned knowledge, as well as how to use it safely. Although we've apprehended all the criminals behind the recent smuggling. So, I decided to ask her to work on increasing knowledge and awareness on the topic. Please be sure to keep an eye on her.
I will.
If anything else happens, the three of you can find me in the Avidia Forest.
I've already caught those who were preparing to attack you in secret. Even if some criminals did slip through our fingers, they wouldn't know that you were involved in the case. So you can relax.
But what about you, Cyno?
It's still not time for me to rest yet. Those who died have fulfilled their wishes, but those who are alive must continue pressing forward. I've been thinking about what Taj said in the Court of Desolation these last few days. His words were not empty. People do change, and no belief can completely resist the erosion of time. I just hope my own change will come slowly, so that I can press on a little further. That way, those who see me as their superior, and those who are following in my footsteps, will learn courage from my example, just as I gained courage from my own superiors, and my partner. I'll be fine. I'm also enjoying my chat with you right now, you know. There are many things I feel better about once I start to talk about them. Many people want to go to the desert to offer condolences for Taj. But I didn't share details with anyone. One day, I'll gather some flowers that grow in arid desert conditions. And then, I was hoping you'd join me in planting them on the remains of the Court of Desolation. Traveler, Paimon.
Cyno! It's been so long since we last saw you!
Welcome back to Sumeru City. I'm delighted to meet you again. So, what brings you back here?
Oh, nothing in particular. Paimon just saw a really big mushroom out on the road the other day and suddenly missed all our friends in Sumeru.
Funnily enough, we were reminiscing about you recently too. It was at a group dinner. I look forward to hearing about your travels. Something tells me we must have a lot to catch up on.
Really? You were thinking of us too? What a coincidence!
Indeed. Or as I call it, the Biryani factor. You really want me to say the rest? Okay. It's always rice to meet stew again.
Oh, darn, he said it.
You like that one, huh? You must if you remember it after all this time. Admit the truth. You have long been in awe of my razor-sharp wit.
All right. Here's your 500 Mora.
You're exaggerating. It's only 500 Mora.
Hey, 500 Mora is still a lot of snacks to Paimon.
All right. I'll treat you to some desserts later. Anyway, I'm actually investigating a case right now. My mind is focused on work, which is why I didn't complete the joke at first.
A case? What happened?
Nothing major. But after finding out who was involved, I decided, on reflection, to handle this one myself.
Need any help? We only came here to hang out, so we've got the time. You may as well take us with you, and then when you're done, we can,
Such enthusiasm. Are you worried I'll forget about treating you to some sweets if you're not around to remind me?
What? No! All right, was it...
Obvious enough. Still, it's a fine idea. You are the heroes of Sumeru. It makes perfect sense to work together. All right, follow me. Do you see him? The old man flailing around?
Oh, is he the one you wanted to talk to about the case?
Correct. His name is Cyrus, a former Spontamod sage. He taught both me and Lisa.
Huh? Cyno's teacher is in trouble?
It's ridiculous. I'm just an old man who enjoys a spot of gardening, shopping, and wine. What sort of person targets an old retiree?
Professor, I've brought some friends.
Ah, cyno. Now who do we have here? Hold on, let me think. A flying fairy dressed in white? A youth who does not seem to hail from this land? My goodness. You must be the legendary traveler in Paimon. I've heard all about what you've done for Sumeru.
Wow, looks like we're really famous.
I've told him about you before. You are my friends, after all. That's right. Let me summarize the situation. A couple of days ago, Professor Cyrus suddenly received a threat letter.
A threat letter?
Exactly. Who sends a threat letter to an old man like me, for goodness sake?
This is the letter in question.
Cyrus, I have uncovered your secret. If you wish to prevent it from going public, leave 10 million Mora at the back door of the cafe. Secondly, don't come looking for me. You'll never find me. But I will always be watching you and all of your secrets. Finally, if you dare to report this to the Matra, there will be consequences. Wow, they sure didn't mince their words.
Clearly, this person must be desperate for Mora.
10 million Mora, what a joke. I'm just a single retiree with nothing to my name beyond the tomatoes in my garden.
There were no witnesses, so currently the letter is all we've got. So, Traveler, Paimon, let's put...
Paimon's ready too!
Alright, take a look. Do you see anything suspicious? Yes. Some of the strokes are blurry.
So is there something wrong with the ink?
Possibly. And I bet the paper has something to do with it.
Most of the paper around here is much smoother than this, and the ink is absorbed quickly so it doesn't run. This paper, meanwhile, it's very coarse-grained.
It's certainly not the same paper as we use in the academia, but the ink is nothing special. Just regular black ink that gets a blue tinge when applied to paper.
So do we think the culprit has a connection with the academia or not? Wait, check this out! Looks like this part got wet at some point.
Agreed. The staining suggests it was a colored liquid, not plain water. It also looks like it was wiped off with a damp cloth.
A colored liquid, so... tea? What?
Looks like we're thinking along similar lines. Let's go talk to Arof. There are some things I'll need him to take care of.
Mahamatra Cyno, Sir Cyrus. And the Traveler and Paimon. It's been a while.
As such, I'm inclined to... Oh, one last thing. I'd start your investigation by taking a look at the cafes in this...
Oh, of course! You think the culprit spilled their coffee on the ladder, huh?
They do look like coffee stains to me. Also, if I'm not mistaken, the letter is written on a type of scented paper that has aromatics added during the manufacturing process. The kind often provided as writing material for customers in cafes and taverns.
Ah, of course. Yes, like they sell in the gift shops. I remember now. Zaha Hadi bought some a while back. She said she was going to...
Understood. I'll assemble a team to investigate the points of interest immediately.
You have my gratitude.
One last thing. Send some Matra to guard the entrances and exits of Sumeru City. And change into plain clothes. Don't let them see you coming.
Will do.
Great thinking, Cyno. So, where do we think the culprit's at right now? Yeah, they've probably been lying low at home waiting to see how Cyrus reacts.
You're right, Paimon.
Really? Which part?
The culprit's approach. Whatever happens, they need this Mora. But just because they warned Professor Cyrus not to go to the Matra, doesn't mean they know what he'll do next. So, like you said, they need to wait and see. And crucially, the culprit said they'd be watching the Professor's every move.
Huh? Wait, are you saying...
Found you!
What are you doing?
You wrote the threat letter!
I don't know what you're talking about. What?
I sensed someone was watching us from the shadows the moment we entered the House of Dana. You managed to stay relatively well hidden for someone reckless enough to threaten Professor Cyrus. There are a lot of people here, but we were looking specifically for Arof. Whoever followed us the whole way was likely to be the culprit.
I was just listening in, that's all. You know something big's going down when Mahamatra Cyno shows up, right? So I got a little curious. What's the big deal?
You smiled when Arav left. I saw it as clear as...
Is smiling a crime now?
There are coffee stains on the letter. You mixed some coffee with water, gently smeared it onto the paper, then wiped it off with a wet cloth, all to create the impression that the letter was written at a cafe. Closing off the exits to the city doesn't affect you, because you already live here. And as long as the Matra were focused on the cafes, you would be free from scrutiny. The cafe was a red herring all along. You had to be somewhere where you could monitor the professor's...
You can't pin this on me! I haven't done anything!
Really? Then why are you shaking like a leaf? The innocent have no reason to fear the Matra. But you... your heart's racing, and your eyelids are twitching. You're a terrible liar.
I would never...
Don't try anything or you'll pay the price. Now come with me.
Over quickly. Cyno already caught the guy.
You're telling me. 1 minute I go out for a quick smoke, the next minute I see Arav already on his way back to meet up with Cyno. Looked like a young guy, too. Couldn't have been much more than 30. But after what he's done, I'm afraid he's ruined his whole future.
Everyone, it's all over.
Gosh, that was so fast.
The culprit's name is Uraka. A 16-year-old student in the Rataoist Darshan.
Huh?
16? Cyrus thought he looked 30-something!
We checked his records. He's 16, a third-year student.
But he looks so old.
Yeah, seriously.
Foolish child. He's too young for the criminal life. What the devil drove him down this path?
We question the culprit regarding his motives.
Oh, just spit it out. Nothing can surprise me at this point.
Very well. It's our understanding that Uraka is a mediocre student who has been underperforming in his classes. He started taking extra tutoring to improve his grades, but developed a gambling habit around the same time and lost a lot of mora. Down on his luck, he went to the tavern for a drink and overheard some people chatting about Sir Cyrus's comfortable retirement. They mentioned that he's always arguing about his tomato plants with some old woman on the street.
Some old woman on the street? Goodness gracious. Has that rascal attended a single one of his classes? That old woman is Kasharwar's very own professor, Zaha Hadi. How can he not know who Zaha Hadi is?
Is this going somewhere?
Oh, right, yes. So another thing. We don't just argue about tomato plants. And what are they trying to insinuate by comfortable retirement? A man grows a few vegetables and suddenly he's living a life of luxury?
Maybe it's more the fact that you have the time to grow vegetables in the first place.
Uraka mentioned he'd heard a rumor, alleging that Sir Cyrus illegally obtained a large sum of money from the desert before retiring, and kept it for himself instead of reporting it to the academia. Uraka believes this money to be the reason why Sir Cyrus hasn't kept up with any academic research or other projects since his retirement. And given your advanced age, he thought you'd be an easy target to blackmail.
Oh, Uraka. I'm at a loss for words.
People make up rumors all the time. I am quite confident that Professor Cyrus has never embezzled a mora in his life.
Arav, you'll have to find some excuse to interrogate Uraka again later. I need you to deliver a few firm fistfuls to him on my behalf.
I completely understand how you feel, Sir Cyrus, but I'm afraid that course of action goes against the Matra's principles.
Professor, there's no need to be childish about this.
Oh, come on, I was clearly joking.
Okay.
The academia will determine the appropriate disciplinary action against the student. And as for the individuals spreading rumors about the professor's obsession with tomatoes, and some old woman on the street...
Who said I'm obsessed with some old woman on the street? Mind your wording or you'll start a whole new rumor. You seem confused. Oh, don't you understand? Uraka is just a young boy who made a very rash and very stupid decision based on some groundless rumor he heard. Besides, I didn't actually hand over any mora to him. The whole thing sounds a lot worse than it is. All it costs me is a little reputational damage. That's...
Please rest assured, Professor. that the Academia will issue a fair and reasonable punishment.
Yes, I have no doubt about that. But as a former educator, I'd still like to have a serious conversation with the boy's parents. The family lives in the city, yes?
Correct.
We looked into the family. Both parents are merchants and they're often away on business. They've never taken much of an active role in their children's lives.
Oh, what a mess. You don't have to seal the evidence away yet, do you? I'd like to have that letter back for the time being, if possible. We have to show them how serious this situation is.
The relevant authorities have already reviewed the evidence and are now discussing Araka's punishment. You can hold on to the letter for now. Just make sure to return it within a couple of days.
Oh, so you'll be able to close the...
Give or take. Cases like the...
Very good. Well, thank you for all...
My apologies, Sir Cyrus, but I have a prior commitment. Enjoy the meal, everyone.
Ah, I see. Well, that's a pity. But Cyno, you have to come. You found the culprit at record speed, and I owe you for that. Ah, and isn't Tighnari in town at the moment? Bring him along, too.
Wait, you mean Tighnari's in the city?
He is. Tighnari's master, Sir Nephis, called him and Kale to the Academia to help out on a project. They should be at Nephis's office at this hour, though I must say, I'm surprised you're extending an invitation to Tighnari. Did you do something to offend Sir Nephis?
Don't be outrageous. Nephis offends me. Anyway, hurry up and fetch Tighnari. I'll head over to the tavern with the Traveler and Paimon. See you there. Go on now. Don't keep us waiting. But we never had problems like this at Ratawa Hist back when I was still teaching. They were students at the time. They'll tell you what it was like.
I was out in the forest at least 4 days a week back then, thanks to a colossal workload from Master. It wrought havoc on my poor tail, so I didn't exactly keep up to date with what was going on at the Academia. Most of what I know, I heard from Cyno after the fact.
Professor's become a lot more laid back in his retirement. He used to be far stricter, and was especially known for being extremely principled.
Wow, it's hard enough to stay true to your principles as a normal person. I can't imagine doing that as a sage.
It's a pity Kale wasn't around at the time. I would have happily taken her on as a student.
And then we'd have one more person who has to address Lisa as upper-class woman.
Really? Can't you just call her Lisa? She seems to prefer it when people treat her like an older sister.
Oh, believe me, back when she was a student, nothing made her happier than the younger students acknowledging...
Whoa, more food? Are you sure about this? We don't want to take advantage.
Oh, don't worry about it. Order whatever you like.
I thought I heard some familiar voices. Ah, and Sir Cyrus is here as well.
Oh, Kaveh, it's been a while. Zahahadi was talking about you last month.
I've been all right, thank you. You're looking very well, sir. I'm glad to see it.
Have you eaten yet? Care to join us?
That's awfully kind of you, but I had a late lunch, so I'm not really hungry just yet. I'll have dinner a little bit later tonight. I just came to Lombard's to buy some wine, and when I heard some voices I recognized, I thought I'd come and say hello. So what's the occasion, anyway? Some sort of celebration?
Consolation, more like. You wouldn't believe the day I've had.
Sounds like things have really gone downhill since I was there. My whole time as a student, I've never heard of anything remotely like that.
I can't believe how young the guy is. What are his parents going to think?
Young people are always more susceptible to making rash and ill-advised decisions. But still, this boy has some nerve. Just look at what he wrote.
Wow, yeah.
I will always be watching you and all of your secrets. And then he just...
If this were my son, he'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Luckily, I'm also an extremely principled person.
Kave! Your order's ready, sir!
Coming. I'll have to get going. Have a nice evening, everyone. I'll catch you all another time.
Okay, bye-bye!
Here I am. The coffee beans are in here, too?
Yep, it's all there. I'll stop babbling away now. Let's eat before the food gets cold.
Oh, too tasty. Paimon's...
Oh, mine too. I'll have to walk home to burn some of it off.
Thanks for dinner, Sir Cyrus. Master Tainari and I will bring you some homemade herbal tea next time. It'll do wonders for your sleep.
Well, I look forward to that. In fact, could I trouble you to bring a little extra for the other old folks on my street? I'll be the envy of the neighborhood.
No problem at all.
I'll see you all later. I better head home now and tend to the crops.
Good night, Professor. Don't let those tomatoes keep you up too late.
Hey, my tomatoes are serious business. I am not about to be beaten by Zaha. Anyway, I'll be leaving now. Don't stay up too late now, children. I bid you all a good night.
Take care, have a...
All right. Now, we finally have some us time.
What do you mean, us time?
Well, I was talking with Tainari and Kale, and since we all have some free time, we thought we could all go camping together. Think of it as our way of welcoming you back to Sumeru.
Camping? Oh, that sounds fun! Paimon's in!
Right? It's been so long since we did something fun together. I can't...
Everyone, let's meet tomorrow afternoon at the riverbank to the south. No need to bring anything. We've already packed everything for the trip.
You got it! We'll be there!
Great. Then we'll see you tomorrow.
And meet up with the others.
I'd say we're right about on schedule, actually. We were aiming to have them set up before you arrived.
Traveler, Paimon, let's go fishing together. Whatever we catch, we can grill for dinner tonight.
You got it! Dinner's on us tonight!
I hope I can contribute too. The other Forest Watchers gave me some fishing tips a little while ago.
I saw some very appetizing mushrooms in the area, so I gathered a
Wow, camping with a forest watcher is the way to go! They think of everything! And even if they don't, they can improvise!
This is true. I don't think I've ever had a single rough day in this forest.
So, how has everything been going for you?
Well, there's been...
I see. Oh, in that case, you should try a valberry. I bought some from the market this morning.
A valuable suggestion. Just don't bury your feelings using food.
All I wanted was to recommend something bittersweet.
Oh, I have a sudden craving for fruit tea. I'm gonna go fetch some stuff.
She sure made a run for it.
Unbelievable! She made a run for it!
So Kale chose the path of tactical retreat. Could it be she foresaw what shall soon come to pass? My dear friend, you know what I am about to say. Oh, drat. A flat-out rejection. But this isn't over. It's only a matter of time before I challenge you again.
Ugh, this guy.
I'll reel it in.
Firewood, spices, snacks, and drinks. There are 3 tents. Which one do you two want to take?
How about the one on the left? Well, Paimon just thinks the ambiance here is a little better.
True. But it's also the closest to the water. If there are any sleepwalking fungi around tonight, they might stumble into your tent.
Well, that's no good. Take my weapon. You can use it to bar the entrance.
Oh, anyone would think you were sealing the gates to King Deshret's mausoleum.
Excellent. Then this tent will be an impenetrable fortress.
I'm back! How's your appetites? Ready for the barbecue?
Always. Oh, it smells so good.
Someone sure is desperate to eat. I think it's time to add the seasoning. How do you like your skewers?
Wait, what? Isn't that just for steaks?
Hey, if it works for steak, maybe it works for other things too.
Medium well for me.
Okay, these are about ready now then. It'll be a few more minutes for anyone who wants...
Oh, that was so delicious. If Paimon's stomach had space, she'd eat 3 more skewer.
I ate a lot too. Here comes the food coma.
If you're tired, then go rest.
You must be getting sleepy too, Paimon. Why don't you guys...
Tonight I show you mercy. Our sacred duel will take place another day.
Good night.
Paimon's struggling to keep her eyes open.
Oh, don't forget this. The Staff of the Scarlet Sands.
Wait, you were actually being serious about that?
It's a very powerful weapon. Try it.
Paimon can't even lift that thing.
Fair enough. You sure you don't want it?
Yeah, Paimon's sure. We'll be fine. And even if we do get invite a guest in the night, Paimon will be here to take care of the traveler.
That reminds me of a parting king of invocations. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. But right now, it's time to rest. Sleep well and sweet dreams.
I think they should all be here. Traveler? Paimon? Are you in there? Could you come outside for a sec?
Look at this.
What the? What's this sword doing here? Is it supposed to keep out intruders?
Evidently.
Who is it? Oh, what time do you call this? Paimon's gonna take out the sword. Yeah! Oh, hey them, Kaveh! What are you doing here? It's the middle of the night!
Sorry to wake you up at this hour of the night, but we've got a situation on our hands.
Let's get dressed and talk about it outside.
Something has come up. And since it pertains to Cyrus and Cyno, I deemed it essential to inform you all.
Whoa, back up. Let's start from the beginning. Where'd the wine cups go? I could have sworn I left them here after I washed them. Ah, there they are.
I'll have a cup too.
Can you see if the cookies are still on the table?
They are. And so are the fruit.
Oh, this is so bland. I should have gotten a few bottles of what Cyno's group was drinking last night.
Do tell. What were they drinking?
Oh, right, I forgot to mention. So, I ran into Cyrus yesterday evening when I went to the tavern to pick up some things. He was hosting a dinner for Cyno, Tighnari, Kale, and the Traveler and Paimon. Anyway, they got a bottle of Lombard's new vintage for the table. At least, I think that's what it was. It looked pretty good.
Sounds like they're all tangled up in this.
You know what it's about, right? 16-year-old kid tried to extort Cyrus. He was asked...
I heard some people talking about it on the streets, yes. Didn't...
I wonder what Sir Nephis and the others will make of it. Oh, Cyrus showed me the extortion letter, too. It was crudely written, but the paper had this give me a sec, I'll sketch it out for you. Okay, done. Take a look. You see what I mean? I don't think I've ever seen writing paper like...
Interesting. These are all...
What? Really?
Take this, for instance. Looks like an outline of a spire, similar to the kind found on some ancient palaces. And the crisscrossing and mirroring here. I recognize that too. It bears a striking resemblance to an ancient emblem, one that hasn't been used in a very long time.
Whose emblem is it?
It's the emblem of the Temple of Silence.
After discussing it with each other, we both agreed that something didn't feel right. This was a long way to come from the city. Alhaitham figured you were probably with Tighnari, so Gandharvaville was our first stop. But the Forest Watchers told us that you'd gone camping. Then, just as we were heading off to the campsite, we ran into Cyno. He said he was on a supply run. We exchanged a few words, and then he ran...
Hold on, so what's the deal with that emblem you were talking about?
Is everything okay? Give me a second.
So you've never heard of the Temple of Silence? Well, to put it simply, it's an organization that has existed in Sumeru for over 1,000 years. These days, you can find a Temple of Silence office in the Academia. Theoretically, it's responsible for the custody and disposal of information and documents not fit. At least, that's what they tell the outside world. In truth, it's essentially a vestigial institution nowadays. Historically speaking, the original Temple of Silence is said to have been established by Hermanubis, one of the 7 pillars of King Deshret and the greatest of all sages. Most of the organization's members hailed from the desert. By contrast, none of the Academia Temple's current members are from the desert region, nor do they use any symbols connected with the desert folk.
So the Temple of Silence at the Academia is just a fake? Wow.
It's possible. The real question is, why? My guess is they're covering something up.
So, how do you know all this? Sounds like some pretty top secret stuff.
Did you forget? He did a stint as acting Grand Sage, and kept the pay raise even after he resigned.
Oh, yeah! Paimon did totally forget about that. So you took the chance to read all the top secret documents while you were acting Grand Sage, huh?
If you're asking me whether I familiarized myself with the documentation in my office, I would respond that that's a perfectly normal part of any job.
So much about this doesn't make sense. Why did the emblem of the Temple of Silence appear on a threat letter from an Academia student to Cyrus? The student's only 16, and doesn't...
You said you ran into Cyno, yes? Did you tell him what you've just told us?
Yep. He ran off as soon as he heard what we said.
Given that Cyrus is involved, he's probably halfway through solving the case by now. Still, we should try to catch up with him.
If the Academia's Temple of Silence really does exist just to cover up the truth, the sudden appearance of this emblem can't be good. It's sure to stir up trouble. We should pay a visit to the Academia.
Yes. As the Sage of Amorta, my master ought to know the truth about their office. You can ask him to tell you what he knows. The more information we have, the better prepared we'll be for whatever happens.
If this situation is connected to the real Temple of Silence, the emblem has to be part of a bigger conspiracy.
Kale, could I trouble you to send a message to the Core of 30? Tell them to keep Traveler. Paimon, you two come with me. We'll go after Cyno.
Sounds like a plan.
Cyrus has been living in the city lately. He rented a place near the field so we can keep an eye on his tomato plants.
Then let's go look for him.
Here we are. This is the place.
We might be too late. Looks like nobody's home. Oh, Cyno moves fast. If he was here, he's probably long gone by now.
I know that voice. Is that Tainari I hear?
Professor Zahahadi!
Wow, so it really is you. My goodness, whatever is going on tonight?
We're looking for Cyno. So, he's already been here?
Yes, not long ago, in fact. He knocked on my door and asked if I'd seen Cyrus today at all. I told him the old fool left early this morning, and I hadn't heard him come back. So we went to his place, and would you believe it? It must have alarmed Cyno, because he took off in an awful hurry after that. He never did explain what the...
Well, if Cyrus isn't at home... Oh, it sure doesn't sound good.
Professor, did you hear that a student recently tried to extort Cyrus?
Why, yes. When I left the house that day, I noticed he was watering his flowers in the field in complete silence. He had a piece of paper clutched in his hand, and he looked lost in thought. I could tell something was troubling him, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. If Cyno hadn't happened to visit him after seeing the letter, Cyno told him to contact the Core of 30. but Cyrus was very reluctant. He claimed it would only damage his reputation.
Huh? Cyrus didn't want to report it? Well, that's strange. When we saw him, he seemed pretty okay with the idea of the kid getting his just desserts.
As a former sage, it's possible Cyrus still has enemies at the academia. That's why Cyno was so insistent that he report the matter to the authorities. I was there while they were going back and forth over it.
So Cyrus initially hoped to stop this from going public.
Oh dear, what on earth has that old fool gotten himself wrapped up in? I almost forgot. Cyno left me this letter to pass on to you. He wrote it when he came by earlier. He realized you might come looking for him.
Thank you.
What does it say? Let Paimon take a look. My friends, this is a rather complicated state of affair. Unfortunately, I cannot disclose more than that. I ask you to understand and accept that I had to act alone at this stage.
Yep, that sounds like Cyno. Thank you, Professor. Please do not worry. We will do all we can to protect both Cyno and Cyrus. Traveler, Paimon, let's head to the...
You're here? I thought you were going after... I guess you lost their trail.
We went to Cyrus's house. No one was there.
He didn't say where he was going?
No, he left us a letter and told us not to go after it.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Typical Cyno. Anyway, some updates on progress on our end. I drew the emblem from memory again, but in more...
I checked some ancient texts for a similar design.
Yeah, and we're lucky we found anything at all.
Meanwhile, Arav managed to get Uraka. The one who told him about Cyrus's embezzled funds was a young man from the desert. According to Uraka, he had a striking presence and was well...
Apparently, the two met in the tavern over a game of cards. The guy claimed to be in the city for business, as part of a merchant caravan. Uraka was intrigued when he heard what his new acquaintance had to say, and brought up the idea of extorting Cyrus for Mora. The guy encouraged him to go ahead with it, then handed him some pen and paper to write the letter.
I see. So it could be that this person planted the paper...
So, how do we find this guy? Did Uraka say where he is?
He doesn't know. He claims not to have seen him since that day in the tavern. The man gave him some tips on how to carry out the extortion.
Nephis and Arav have gone to meet the Core of 30 and review the city's entry and exit records. Also, Nephis admitted that the Temple of Silence in the Academia is just a facade. The true Temple of Silence once came to the rainforest to establish a collaboration with the Academia, but as time went by, the sages gradually became corrupt and foolish. The Temple of Silence felt that they could no longer trust the Academia. Ever since its inception, that at its roots, it was a legitimate and reputable organization whose purpose was to guide people.
The Academia of the day knew that the split would damage their reputation if it became a matter of public knowledge. And so, they set up a dummy organization of their own to conceal the truth.
Not only that, but they managed to keep up the charade for hundreds.
So how did Cyrus become acquainted with the true Temple of Silence if they left centuries ago?
I'll bet that's the question that bothered Cyno. Probably why he went after him in such a rush.
Whoever is behind this, getting Uraka to extort Cyrus was only the first step of the plan. Their true goal in doing so was for Cyrus to see the emblem.
He must have recognized it right away. That'll be why he didn't want to involve the authorities. He probably hoped to take care of the whole thing by himself. Unfortunately for him, Cyno had other plans.
Since the desert is where the Temple of Silence originated,
I have to go after him.
Really?
I should be fine, as long—
Everyone, I have news from the Core of 30.
Master—
Oh, so that's Nafis, Tynar.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Traveler, and several independent eyewitnesses have reported. I was going to suggest that you join forces with the Core of 30 in this case. However, the Academia has made a number of decisions throughout history. I won't attempt to make you understand the Academia's—
I understand where you're coming from, Master. But I'm afraid the situation might be more complicated.
Good point. If Cyrus is involved— everyone, we have—
Need our help? Whatever—
Really? Wonderful. You have my Arav and I will continue to follow up on the lead from Uraka. Kaveh, Scribe Al-Haytham, I'd let Tainari. You are planning to go into the desert.
I am. Kaveh, I'll be okay.
Well, if you're sure.
Thank you all. Arav, let's go.
You'd better get moving. Don't forget to ask for help.
Will do. Let's go, Tainari. Hopefully we—
Knowing him, he's
Okay, we made it to Caravan Ribat. Where should we go next? Maybe we should ask the nearby guards if they've seen it.
Hold on. Look up.
Is that Dia?
You sure you want to brave the desert?
It's not my first time.
Cyno.
If you're really going to go—
Makes sense.
Thought we might find you here. You're trying to retrace Cyrus's steps, aren't you?
Didn't I tell you not to come after me? I thought I had a good lead on you.
Well, sorry, but we never agreed to that. Why would you go off?
Nothing personal. It's just a complex situation.
Takes a special kind of person to get Cyno chasing them all the way out to Caravan. But why so coy today, huh? You only gave us his age and description. Why can't you reveal his name? Oh, also, hey guys, it's been a while.
Dia and Candace! So nice to see you. Actually, seeing all of our friends is the whole reason we're here.
You're looking well. Glad to see it. Candace and I came to Caravan Reap. Some people say they saw him. Guess he stood out as an older guy heading in. That's gotta be one heck.
Cyno, it's okay if you can. We're here to help however you need.
No, it's not that simple.
We spoke with Zaha Hadid.
Sounds like this is fucked.
Still, if he started from Caravan Rebot, the chances are that his route took him past our village. You may as well ask if anyone there has seen him.
My thanks to you both. Once this is resolved, I will find a way to repay you.
Come on. All right, so.
Yes, we'll handle it from here.
All right, then we'll leave you to it.
And don't think you'd be imp—
Don't worry, we'll keep him out of trouble.
Hold on. There's a few things I'd like to clear up. So, after you left the campsite, we had—
Clearly, we've only scratched the surface of the Temple of Silence.
Do you have any connect—
Due to my unique— But my memory of that time is hazy. It's a good thing that Kaveh noticed the emblem on the letter. Without that, I don't know if we would have connected the dots, and I did not recognize that symbol at all. Whether that's because I've never seen it, or because my memory fails me, it's hard to say.
Yeah, you're right. Thank goodness for Kaveh, and for all Hatham's diligence during his time as...
But Cyrus must have recognized it right away, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have had any qualms about you.
I suspect so too.
Well, speaking of avoiding...
Or rather, I don't see how I could manage to ditch you en route.
That's right. Fact is, we're coming with you whether you like it or not, so the best option...
Fair enough.
Works for me. All right, off we go. Let's start by seeing what the guards here can tell us.
Hello.
Mahamatra Cyno?
I'm looking for someone. So I'd like to confirm any recent foot traffic in and out of our...
A man matching that description passed by Aru village not too long.
Where was he going?
Let me think. He took a seat by the entrance of the village for a while, and do you have a map? I can mark...
I have one.
Great. There you go.
Thank you so much.
You've got a really good memory.
You're quite welcome. Just doing my job. Best of luck. I hope you...
Drat.
Hold on. I see some people over there.
Do you think it's safe to...
Should be. I'll go...
No. I'll do it.
Huh? Why can't Cyno go talk to them? What?
Given my background, appearance, and the way I dress, I might not be the most welcome visitor here.
Hello there. Hope I'm not interrupting. My friend and I are looking for an elderly man who's gone missing around these parts. Any chance I could ask you a couple...
Oh, a missing person, huh? Sure. What do you want to know?
I'm just wondering if you've seen him. Let me give you the details.
So, a silver-haired guy in a long robe, culture type with thoughtful eyes, and...
He'd stand out like a sore thumb around here.
Yeah, sounds like the kind of guy we'd remember if we saw him.
He's looking behind me.
That guy's looking our way.
Your friend over there stands out a lot, too. Hey, aren't you Cyno, the General Mahamatra?
Yes, that's me.
You don't seem surprised that
It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, you're the one looking for the old man.
I have a bad feeling about this guy.
No need to hide it. I understand why you're wary of us. Still, you came to us asking for help. Do you want it or not?
I thought you were a group of merchants. Seems I was
Your henchmen don't look like much, but something tells me they put up a better fight than most mercenaries.
Hey, hear that, guys? You're my henchmen now.
Suits me, as long as I get paid for it.
Just cut to the chase already. I'm running out of patience.
All right. Come with me. All of you. Don't you want to find your friend? The silver-haired, long...
So you know where he is?
Just follow me. In.
What? Where are you looking? There's nothing here.
Please, step back.
Ooh, something's coming out of the ground!
What is this enormous building doing here?
And how was it so well hidden? King Deshret's technology?
Wait, so... Hold on, who are you guys?
Is this the Temple of Silence? So you're a member?
All good questions. There'll be plenty of time to address them.
Not what Paimon was expecting to find in the desert, especially not hidden right next to an oasis. Oh, Paimon's scared. They must have kidnapped Cyrus. Do you think this is the guy who
What's wrong? Thinking about your professor?
I just hope for your sake you haven't done anything you might regret.
Me too. I hope I haven't done anything to incur your wrath.
May knowledge guide.
All right. You can wait here. I'll inform our leader that you've arrived at the Temple of Silence. Sit tight until he comes to greet you.
So he's just gonna leave us here unattended? Maybe we're not...
They can't have been at the oasis by chance.
So this is the Temple of Silence after leaving the rainforest.
Hey, look! That guy's coming back.
Don't worry. Someone will come and call for you.
What's your name?
Sorry, guess I was sold. My name is Sethos. I'll be here if you need me.
So we're free to explore by...
Yep. I mean, Cyrus is here. And unless I've misunderstood, you're all quite anxious to see him.
He's right.
Sure. Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean you have... Not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many...
I never imagined that the true...
That's King Deshret's technology for you, I guess. It borders on the miraculous.
We should be wary of our hosts. Still, at this point, we can be confident that the professor is safe and sound.
Here you... Grandfather, the person you wish to see is here.
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all.
Professor!
Cyrus!
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. Cyrus owes me his life. I wanted to end my feud with this old bag. Just leave, cyno. This is a...
So that's why you didn't want to report the letter. You'd made up your mind to come here from the beginning. You only left in such a hurry to try and throw us off your trail.
Some things in life catch up with you, no matter what you do.
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came...
My secrets are secret for good reason. Bringing them to light can... You're afraid, aren't you? You recognized our emblem because you knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. For you, Cyrus, are a traitor. You once shared your learning with us, but then you betrayed us. We both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave, but that one day the sands of time will catch up with you, and when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
Hermanubis' might?
Does he mean you?
The moon is right. They rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. It was a great, daring plan. The moon proposed that we implant bar fragments. Many believers volunteered. One other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed. For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of two, but the test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony and instructed to... The original plan was for a 3-stage experiment: resonance, implantation, and recovery and observation. As the second stage began, I realized a decision had to be made. But as I was deliberating, both bar fragments suddenly... Our two vessels had both displayed great promise by successfully resonating with the fragments. Under the circumstances, the thought of implanting both fragments into the same vessel seemed to preserve our faith and our power. We implanted each of them with a... Ultimately, I ended the experiment and left. In recognition of your past I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing...
I see. So that's how I gained my power.
Look, in essence, I borrowed your bar fragment for a decade or so. And now you are seeking justice. If you want to take my life, then so be it. But you cannot live... I'm sure you don't remember anymore. You and he, Sethos. You... As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now, it is time to reclaim it. That power is not yours to reclaim. Cyno was chosen by the gods. You cannot take what they have bestowed. You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he was not the only one. My child, Sethos, has the same gift as he.
So those are your terms for freeing the professor?
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an innocent party. It is because of my foolishness all those years.
So what you're saying is, the power of one Ba fragment is not enough? You're asking me to return the one in my possession, so it can be implanted in him instead.
Divine power causes great... He is no longer a small child, but
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you are proposing is a terrible idea. However...
Don't listen to him, cyno. That power is no more yours to give than it is his to take. You have to understand.
I know. But if this is a question of your freedom versus a fragment of power, then there is nothing.
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of contentions here that still need addressed. Say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, we are at an impasse. I find it hard to believe that you went to all this effort without planning for that possibility. You're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your remaining cards close to your chest. Well, my stance is, put the rest of your cards on the table. Then we can have a discussion.
Wait, those ears. So, we have a descendant of the Valuka Shuna in our midst. Splendid. Fate smiles upon us. Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day we...
Why is he coughing so much?
Moon, you...
Take our leader back to his room. Grandfather, I know what you wish to say. I don't like to drag out conversations, so I'll just cut to the chase. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment still, I'm not like Mike, but I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple has the same stat, so I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave, except for Cyrus. My grandfather gave him his chance once, and now I'm giving...
You have courage and wise judgment, kid. Reminds me a lot of Bamoon in his younger years. I truly wish that the temple would take, and things will only continue.
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open to persuasion.
Tainari made a good point earlier. He said there has to be more to your plan than this, and I agree. All you and Ba Moon are after is the Ba fragment. The professor will ultimately... You want to trade the Ba fragment for the professor.
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious...
I won't forsake my professor. Nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must face sooner or later. Give me one night to make my decision.
That works. Then, my grandfather...
Are you sure about...
I need to think.
All right, well...
I've taken some time to reflect on this. He's a stubborn man.
I agree.
You've heard all you need. My own memories of the... I do remember having some... I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. The power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith.
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? You sure?
No. So I will challenge them head on.
Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own, and I think we could turn that to our advantage. Go back to them with a proposal.
Wow, and just like that, out.
Looks like we have the same. Turn it back on them now while we still can.
Great. And I know just how to start.
Sethos.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but...
I have no objections. Follow me. Keep your voices down. We don't want to
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his he appears to have sustained a serious injury in his... Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what
I've known.
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. So tell me how we can end this on your terms. Let's find a way to bring all this...
Yeah, there's no time to waste here.
You know, the two of you are actually in a very similar predicament right now.
Right. And you didn't create this situation. They did, but somehow you've ended up having to make the tough decision.
You're right. We both look at this problem very differently than the people we inherit. I accept, cyno. This all began because of Hermanubis. Legend has it that when that group of supporters...
Sounds very fitting.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties...
3 against 3.
However, I have some additional terms. As the challengers, you must win all 3 of your fights to win. Letting Cyrus leave...
None needed. If I win, the Temple of Silence, if you win.
It's a deal. Then let's...
Well, after how...
There never was.
You have to win.
Yeah, that's right!
Both as General Mahamatra and for myself. Yeah, when you put it...
Exactly!
The Traveler and I will never lose.
And neither shall I. The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that for a variety of reasons... But there must be personal factors at work here too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he lets on. And I don't think...
We gather on... This is our representing...
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after...
I know what I'm doing, Grand...
Representing the Academia... Ready. We will fight. Warriors, take your... We come not to debate what brings our challengers here, nor what will become of the defeated duelists. Duelists, the...
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. He's very strong.
Okay, then you're
Sure.
We have decided.
So have we.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there! You better play nice with them or Paimon will make you regret it!
Little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey!
Propagate!
A swift end to the first bout. I now invite, when you're both ready.
Let's begin.
Watch out!
Go, Tighnari, go!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
Can't see? Yeah. Keep up, sir. Yeah, sir. I hear everything. One with the force. Can't see? Let's nip that in the bud.
Thus ends the second.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. I remind you both that when you're both ready, you may begin.
I am Sethos. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Deshret. And even in our darkest hour, when we could not see a way, we earnestly sought Lord Hermanubis' wisdom and power, longing to see his spirit and his light descend upon. Now, I will fight to become the rightful wielder of that power.
I am Cyno, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus, the Sage of Spantamad. I fight in defense of my power, my professor, and my nation. And you, I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel, and Hermanubis is watching. So bare your soul.
Everyone, old and young, fit. My grandfather is a wise leader. He is also known to be a ruler who is not afraid to get blood on his hands. I understand his beliefs well, and I know what he expects of me. But our faith has held us back for too long. After I grew up, I went to the rainforest once. Times have changed. The people of Sumeru are happy. Then I thought of you, Cyno. You and I both wield the same power. Each Ba fragment of Hermanubis. I once thought that the nature of our fragments must be what makes us so different from one another. But
I am more than just a warrior. I am my own person.
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us, shaped the course of our lives. So show me your answer, Cyno. Show me I can be more. Bring it on!
habit of searching for your answer. Fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tule-Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tule-Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tule-Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tule-Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tule-Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
How is it? Do you feel okay?
Grandfather.
Hey, Sethos. You'll get...
I know.
I guess you were prepared for this. It's been a long time coming, huh?
Yeah, he's been on death's door for a very long time now. At least, he was able to see this chapter come to a close.
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's last wishes.
But that's never going to work, as I'm sure you realize. I'm the General Mahamatra. I am needed back at the... I did foresee this possibility, and I gave it some thought. The fact is, I know Sethos. I believe the honor should go to you. Were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would most likely be in your hands by now. I'm sure Bamoon never meant for anyone but you. I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised by the final result. Perhaps he had an ink.
Well, in any case, Sethos, I would like you to succeed Bamoon as the new leader of the Temple of Silence. You are more suited to the role than I, and I have complete faith that you will be an excellent leader. Just think of it as doing me a favor.
But doesn't that render everything that we've been through up to now meaningless?
No, it doesn't. This experience has allowed us to become friends, which means that the Academia and the Temple of Silence will become partners once more. That's a much bigger deal than you might think, Sethos. You said yourself, times have changed. You have to believe that things can change for the better here at the temple too.
I will try. To be honest, I couldn't have asked for a better outcome.
Actually, part of me wonders whether Bamoon's intentions from the very beginning was just to create enough pressure to force us towards a duel. That way, no matter who won, one of us would have to surrender our Ba fragment, and the power of Hermanubis would be concentrated in one single person. Had you won, the Temple of Silence would have doubled its strength. And were I to win, he correctly anticipated that I wouldn't suddenly drop everything to become the leader of the temple, much less integrate the temple into the Academia by force. He knew that the temple's future would depend not just on the guidance of Hermanubis, but the support of the Academia too. So he made it his responsibility to ensure his success. His plan meant that whoever ended up succeeding him, they would have an easier time interacting with the Academia.
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all these. You're absolutely right. Grandfather and I considered this from every angle. We had to find a way to mend our relationship with the academia. Thank you for everything, Cyno. As a gesture of our gratitude, to those that you and Lesser Lord the Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization, more than any other organization in existence today. In times when you need information that only we can provide, we will be here to support you. But you must be exceedingly careful with your By the way, Tainari, my grandfather was so happy to see you. You are a descendant of the Veluca Shuna, and we are the heirs to the will of Hermanubis. The story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis. From among, he went on to fight many valiant battles with his Tainarian companions. The Tainarians who left Tuletula joined their human counterparts in the rainforest, in all likelihood.
How fascinating.
I like this story.
By the
Yes, Cyrus.
If it's true that you and...
Someone's got to make the decisions when history. I will make a detailed report on all. I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the days ahead. If we're going to work together, both sides have to get to know one another.
I will. All right. Well, bye.
See you soon. Come hang out with us anytime.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember.
What were you thinking?
Oh, please.
What do you mean, what other? A one-man suicide mission, That's the...
All right, What do you mean that... Okay, look. Fine, I admit it, I was in the wrong. How can...
1 month?
Tainari's master is really laying into Cyrus.
Professor Butt.
Wow, I haven't seen... The last time he chewed someone out like this must have been bad.
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situations. We can go for dinner afterwards.
Makes sense. I'm in.
Paimon's coming too! Let's go!
Hey, Kale.
You're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this...
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know?
Now would not be a good time to attempt to...
You're right.
It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff and...
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. All right. Say, Madame Farizan, I can see you're pretty upset, but... Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Well, of course the offer still stands. Come on.
Poor Kale getting dragged off like that.
Kale!
Huh? What? What do you mean, cup? Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tainari.
Oh, that's...
Mm-hmm. 2 people left.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember.
Please show me your credentials.
But where are those?
Am I hallucinating? We're just reorganizing all the books we use.
There's no rush. My sincere thanks.
Yes, with your help.
I see.
And it sounds like they managed. That day will come. Now, as a token of my appreciation. Yeah, sounds great. Although, sure.
There was Tainari. He put up an amazing fight, too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts.
Whoa! Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but...
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of detail, but it happened.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then spun around and blocked.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of... Of course. Being dignified comes...
I got to be a champion too for once.
Yeah! Huge place! It felt like something right out of an epic poem! Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon. Dessert's here.
I think that'll do me for...
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again?
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later.
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes. So
Kale's come a long way. She's much more confident at dealing with other people.
Everyone's a work in progress. You never stop...
Yeah, true.
That was good. It feels like everything's... Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a job well done.
Do you 3 have anything planned for the rest of the day? If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now. Wouldn't want to spoil...
Okay, I think I can guess where you're talking about.
Well, now Paimon's cute.
since I last made my way up here.
Oh, look at this!
Need any help?
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up, we can see for miles!
Traveler, turn around. This is my secret base. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time. Just to quit. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Sethos was asking. Who am I? Why do I have this power? And what should I be fighting for? Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world. That was my experience. And I'm sure Sethos will figure things out in his own time, too.
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way. Of course.
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Cyno...
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my fingers.
Those were good times.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be able to imagine Cyno doing something like that, but for some strange reason, the mental...
Then make it stop. You guys carry...
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not supposed...
Oh my days. I can't...
Professor, what are you muttering to yourself about?
Cyno. Just the man I'm looking for. Guess what I've...
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the sage's office. I was at the academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nef. Well, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this.
You look quite young yourself in that one. Ah, it's this one. I remember that. Lisa took it, didn't she?
Yep. Looks like her work, all right.
And this one. Looks like we're both...
Oh, cheeky girl.
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like, these are... hey, at moments like this, I hardly know what... I can't pretend I'm a good person. But Moon had every reason to despise me.
Don't be ridiculous, you...
Is that not what you wanted me to... Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Oh, it was... You've matured so much over the years, I know.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the non-answers you just gave. So, I will do the right thing and keep my mouth shut.
Good thinking. Take your own advice next time. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought heroes were some... Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again.
Look how cute you were when you were little.
Yeah, and look how serious and
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First you get better than me at the deadpan jokes, and now you're besting me at those little quips too.
Don't say that. I still have a lot of respect for you.
That's more like... Hey, what would you say to meeting up with Lisa again sometime?
I'd like that. Let's find a time and pay her a visit in Mondstadt.
All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Let's go next week. Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition. I have got to beat some...
Or you could find a real hobby.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?